The first sign of muscle loss is rarely dramatic. A grocery bag feels heavier. Stairs demand more attention. Getting up from a low chair suddenly requires your hands. Many people call this normal aging. But age is only part of the story. After 50, muscle becomes less responsive to the same small meals and the same light activity that once seemed sufficient. Scientists call part of this change anabolic resistance. Think of muscle as a doorbell that has become harder to hear. Protein still presses the button, but the signal may need to be clearer, and resistance exercise helps turn up the volume. Scripture does not prescribe a muscle-building diet, yet it names ordinary foods that supplied protein in the biblical world: fish, eggs, milk and curds, lamb, lentils, beans, and almonds. Modern nutrition can tell us what those foods provide. It cannot turn a biblical reference into a medical promise. Today we will count down 7 genuinely biblical foods that can help you build practical, protein-centered meals after 50. For each one, we will separate scripture from science, show a realistic way to eat it, and explain who may need caution. Staple number 1. It is not the food with the most protein per bite. Its advantage is that it may help solve the problem most people overlook: eating enough useful protein consistently, not only at dinner. One warning before we begin. New weakness, rapid muscle loss, repeated falls, trouble swallowing, or unexplained weight loss deserves medical evaluation. Kidney disease, liver disease, diabetes, and several medicines can change what is appropriate. Food supports muscle. It does not diagnose or treat the cause of weakness. Muscle is living tissue. It is constantly breaking down old proteins and building new ones. Dietary protein supplies amino acids, including essential amino acids the body cannot make. Resistance exercise gives muscle a reason to use them. Research in older adults generally supports adequate daily protein, often spread across meals, together with progressive resistance training. Exact needs vary with body size, health, appetite, and activity. More is not automatically better, and one enormous steak at night does not erase a day built on tea and toast. This countdown is therefore not a list of cures. It is a set of building blocks. The strongest choice is the one you tolerate, can afford, and can repeat within an eating pattern your clinician considers appropriate. In Genesis chapter 43, almonds appear among the best products of the land sent as a gift to Egypt. The passage speaks about value, scarcity, and diplomacy, not muscle physiology. Modern almonds provide plant protein, unsaturated fat, fiber, magnesium, and vitamin E. They are not a concentrated protein food in the way fish or eggs are. Their strength is different. They can make a light meal more substantial and replace snacks that offer little protein at all. That distinction matters. A handful of almonds added to fruit or plain yogurt may help close a gap. A large bowl eaten without attention can add considerable energy while still falling short of a full protein-centered meal. Try a small handful of unsalted almonds beside fruit, or stir chopped almonds into oatmeal with plain yogurt. Smooth almond butter can help people who find whole nuts difficult to chew, but check for added sugar and excess salt. Anyone with a tree nut allergy must avoid almonds. People with swallowing problems should not use whole nuts unless a qualified professional has confirmed the texture is safe. Kidney disease may also require individual guidance about minerals. Almonds earn a place because they improve the architecture of a snack. Our next food can become the main structure of a meal. 2 Samuel chapter 17 describes beans among provisions brought to David and his exhausted people. The story presents hospitality and nourishment during hardship. It does not claim that beans build muscle. Beans provide plant protein and fiber together. That combination supports fullness and can replace part of a meal based on refined starch or processed meat. But plant proteins vary in amino acid profile and digestibility. This does not make them inferior, it means variety and total intake matter. Pair beans with another protein source or with whole grains across the day. A bowl of bean soup can include vegetables and olive oil. Beans can be added to eggs, served with fish, or folded into a grain bowl. If you rarely eat legumes, begin with a modest portion. Rinse canned beans to reduce surface sodium and increase gradually to limit digestive discomfort. People with chronic kidney disease may need personal advice about potassium and phosphorus. Some gastrointestinal conditions require different portions or preparation. Beans show that muscle-supportive meals do not need to be expensive. The next legume cooks faster and carries one of Scripture's most memorable food stories. Genesis chapter 25 describes Jacob preparing lentil stew when Esau returns from the field exhausted. Later, 2 Samuel lists lentils among supplies for hungry people. Neither account is a nutrition instruction, but both show lentils as real, sustaining food. Cooked lentils provide plant protein, fiber, folate, iron, and other minerals. Their practical value is density. They turn broth and vegetables into a meal, yet a small decorative spoonful is not the same as a protein-serving portion. Make lentil soup with onions, carrots, and olive oil. Add a spoon of plain yogurt if dairy suits you, or serve lentils alongside fish or egg. Red lentils soften quickly, brown and green lentils retain more texture. Iron from plants is absorbed less efficiently than iron from meat. Pairing lentils with a vitamin C-rich food can improve absorption, but persistent anemia should never be self-treated from a video. It needs proper testing because iron deficiency is only one possible cause. Increase fiber gradually and drink an appropriate amount of fluid. People following a medically restricted diet should adapt the portion with professional guidance. Lentils are useful because they are repeatable. Number 4. Supplies more concentrated protein, but it also requires more attention to portion and preparation. Lamb and sheep appear throughout Scripture in meals, agriculture, sacrifice, and symbolism. Those contexts are not interchangeable. A sacred symbol is not a clinical endorsement, and the Bible does not tell modern viewers to eat red meat for stronger muscles. Lean lamb provides complete protein, vitamin B12, zinc, and highly absorbable iron. These nutrients support normal blood formation, nervous system function, and tissue maintenance. But muscle does not require unlimited red meat, and fattier cuts can bring substantial saturated fat. Choose a modest portion of a lean cut, trim visible fat, and serve it with vegetables, beans, or whole grains rather than allowing meat to occupy the entire plate. Slow cooking can make leaner cuts tender without turning the meal into a heavily processed product. People with cardiovascular disease, gout, hemochromatosis, or medically restricted diet may need individualized advice. Processed meats are not equivalent to freshly cooked lean lamb, and charring meat heavily is not a wellness strategy. Lamb's advantage is protein density, especially for someone with a small appetite. But the next food can deliver high-quality protein in a simpler, less expensive package. Eggs appear in Scripture as familiar food. In Luke chapter 11, Jesus uses the ordinary image of a parent giving a child an egg. The teaching is about generosity and prayer, not nutrition. One egg provides complete protein along with choline, vitamin B12, and other nutrients. The protein is high quality, but one egg alone is usually not a complete muscle-supporting breakfast for an older adult. This is where portions become practical rather than magical. 2 eggs with plain yogurt, beans, or another suitable protein food can create a more substantial meal. Add vegetables and whole grain bread if appropriate for your health needs. Eggs are easy to chew, quick to prepare, and useful for people whose appetite is stronger in the morning than later in the day. Boil them in advance, make a vegetable omelette, or stir an egg into a lentil dish. People with an egg allergy must avoid them. Those who have been given personal cholesterol or heart disease guidance should follow it. Handle and cook eggs safely, especially for older adults or anyone with reduced immunity. Eggs rank highly because they help move protein earlier in the day. Number 2 can do the same while also contributing a nutrient many older adults struggle to obtain. Milk, curds, and cheese appear repeatedly in the biblical food world. Genesis chapter 18 describes curds and milk served to visitors. 2 Samuel chapter 17 includes curds and cheese among provisions. These passages describe hospitality and food. They do not command dairy consumption. Modern milk and yogurt provide complete protein. Dairy proteins include whey, which is rich in leucine, an essential amino acid involved in signaling muscle protein synthesis. Leucine is not a switch that works by itself. The body still needs enough total protein, energy, and physical stimulus. Plain Greek-style yogurt can provide more protein than many sweetened yogurts. Milk can strengthen oatmeal or a smoothie that would otherwise be mostly fruit. Cottage cheese or another fresh cheese can become a small meal when paired with vegetables or fruit. Watch what surrounds the protein. A dessert-style yogurt with large amounts of added sugar is not nutritionally identical to plain yogurt. Cheese can contribute protein, but also considerable sodium and saturated fat, so portion and type matter. Lactose intolerance does not always require avoiding every dairy food. Some people tolerate yogurt or lactose-free milk. A true milk allergy is different and requires avoidance. Kidney disease and fluid restrictions need individualized advice. Dairy reaches number 2 because it is convenient, soft in texture, and easy to distribute across breakfast and snacks. But number 1 combines concentrated protein with a second advantage that becomes especially relevant after 50. Fish is named in Numbers chapter 11 and appears throughout the New Testament world. The Gospels describe fish as ordinary food and as part of several narratives. Scripture usually says fish, not salmon or sardines, so we must not pretend that every biblical fish supplied the same nutrients as a modern fatty fish. Fish provides complete protein. Fatty species such as salmon, sardines, trout, and mackerel can also provide the long-chain omega-3 fats EPA and DHA. Research has explored whether omega-3 intake may support muscle responses in older adults, but results are mixed and depend on dose, health status, and study design. Fish belongs here first as nutritious food, not as a guaranteed muscle treatment. The practical advantage is replacement. Baked fish can replace processed meat while supplying protein in a texture many people find easier to eat. Serve it with lentils, beans, barley, or vegetables. A small amount of olive oil and herbs can add flavor without burying the fish in a heavy sauce. Choose species according to current mercury and sustainability guidance, particularly for frequent consumption. People with fish allergy must avoid it. Anyone taking anticoagulant medicine or considering high-dose fish oil supplements should discuss that separately with a clinician. A fish meal and a concentrated supplement are not the same exposure. Fish takes first place because it can anchor lunch or dinner, provides high-quality protein, and may bring useful omega-3 fats when the species is appropriate. Yet, it still cannot solve the central problem alone. Now step back from the ranking. Almonds strengthen a snack. Beans and lentils build affordable meals. Lean lamb provides concentrated protein, pan muhnio. Eggs move protein into breakfast. Yogurt and milk make protein easier between meals. Fish anchors a main meal. The hidden pattern is distribution. Many adults eat very little protein in the morning, a modest amount at lunch, and nearly all of it at dinner. Muscle receives a faint signal twice, and one enormous signal late in the day. A steadier pattern may be more useful. A practical day could begin with eggs and plain yogurt, continue with lentil soup or a bean bowl, and end with fish and vegetables. This is only an example, not a prescription. Your portions depend on body size, health, appetite, and professional advice. Then comes the part no food list can replace: progressive resistance. Chair stands, bands, machines, free weights, or other properly chosen exercises tell the body that strength is still required. Walking is valuable for health, but it does not fully replace resistance training. Recovery matters too. Muscle needs enough total food, adequate sleep, and time between hard sessions. If appetite is low, softer foods and smaller protein-centered meals may be easier than forcing one large plate. Scripture contributes a final perspective, not a medical claim. These foods appear in stories of provision, hospitality, work, hunger, and shared meals. They remind us that nourishment was relational and practical long before it became marketing. Do not buy all 7 foods at once. Choose one weak point in your day. If breakfast is mostly toast, add a suitable protein. If lunch is skipped, prepare lentil soup or yogurt in advance. If dinner relies on processed meat, replace one serving this week with fish, beans, or another option that fits your health needs. Then pair that change with safe resistance exercise. Food supplies the material. Movement supplies the reason to keep it. If this episode helped you think differently about strength after 50, share it with someone who has started calling weakness inevitable. And return for our next exploration of ancient foods, careful science, and practical wisdom for a healthier life.